The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. So good morning, Adam. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
So we were just talking off the air, and you told me that you were going to have back surgery soon. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's nothing majorly serious. I mean, obviously, it sounds terrible, back surgery, right? But it's just fixing a few little things here and there to improve my quality of life. That's for sure, because sciatica has been pretty rough the last couple of years.
Well, I've got a joke you can use.
Okay, great.
How long ago did you get that week back?
I don't know.
About a week back. Okay, here we go.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
That's a free one.
Oh, God. That was awful. And I loved how you just said the joke and then went straight into the intro because you knew it was bad.
That was the drum. It was the rim shot. I think it might be a Three Stooges joke. I mean, it goes way back.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good.
So I had a pretty bad thing happen to me this weekend too, and that is I watched Liverpool play against Manchester United in the FA Cup.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was painful.
How'd that go for you?
It didn't go well.
That? Really? Tell us about it. I saw it, but could you reiterate what took place?
It was a pretty exciting game.
Exciting? Oh my goodness! One of the all-time classics.
Yeah. One
of the best FA Cup quarterfinals I've ever seen. I mean, back and forth. Whoa! What a game!
Yeah.
What a game.
After regulation, it was tied 2-2. Then Liverpool scores in the extra time to make it 3-2. And by the way, that 2-2, the tying goal was in the 87th minute or something like that by Manchester United.
When you look at, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, a couple of goals in early, and it's 87, 105, 112, 120 plus 2. That's when the winner went in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to lose in penalty kicks. They lost regardless. So all credit to Manchester United. Now they're in the Final Four. Let's take a look at that Final Four draw because it's kind of interesting. I'd say Chelsea didn't get a good pull on that draw. They faced Manchester City.
Oh man, I watched it live. Did you watch it? Because they showed it right after the game. They went straight to. I think there was a couple of Ian Wright was making the draw, and the first one that came out was Coventry. Yes, Coventry. So everybody's thinking, come on, we want Coventry. And then when he pulls out Man United, I'm like, oh God! I just threw everything because you knew. I mean, they still have to draw the other two. I was like, maybe Man City didn't make it in. Maybe they forgot to put the ball in there. Yeah. Maybe we get but yeah, it's going to be tough. Oh, gosh. Well, we'll see. Chelsea Coventry final, that's what we can hope for. That's all we can hope for.
Well, yes, it's Manchester City versus Chelsea, and the other one is Coventry versus Manchester United. Coventry with the big upset.
Massive. And the winner? American player, Haji Wright, with the winner. Fantastic.
How about that?
Just got them pulled into the training camp this week as well for their games this week. So congrats to him. Awesome.
All right, so that's just a preview because that's not going to happen for a few weeks. April 20th is when the FA Cup will have their semifinals, and that will happen in Wembley.
Yeah, that's right. The little Final Four. They treated that like... gone to the March Madness type of thing, where we have a little Final Four situation. I always find that interesting because back in the day, they never used to do it at Wembley in the semifinals. They used to do it at regular stadiums. Aston Villa used to host and a whole bunch of different things. So it's been a little bit different, but now they get a chance to play at Wembley. It's certainly great for commentary for sure.
Yeah.
And that was a great game too when they won. I mean, they scored in the last minute too. So
yeah,
it was exciting. All the games were exciting, other than the Man City Newcastle.
Right.
But everything else was good.
That's
everything
true.
else was good.
Yeah. I mean, are we just kind of? Why don't we just give it to Man City now? We're going to wait for the 20th. None of these three teams left can beat Man City. Although I will say this, Chelsea has played them pretty tough.
You know, it's always funny. I say this to my son as well. He plays better against pitchers that are faster and stronger. So he always seems to hit the ball. When they're slow, he can't hit it. Chelsea's the same way. They play better against better competition, and I think this could be it. We've lost in the last four finals. Either we lose in the semi-final or we win it. That's how I look at it. I'll take it.
Okay. All right, then there are two other big draws that happened this week. The Europa League, which we don't usually cover, but we're going to cover this year because Liverpool's in it.
Yeah, okay, of course we do, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But there's some pretty good teams left in these final eight here. We've got Milan versus Roma, Liverpool versus Atalanta, Leverkusen, which is right now crushing it in the Bundesliga, versus West Ham, so another Premier League team is still in there, and Benfica versus Marseille. What are your thoughts about this group?
Yeah, I think like you said, these are some top-notch teams. I'm really excited to see the West Ham Leverkusen game because it's going to kind of put in perspective how good Leverkusen is, especially if they just roll over West Ham, which could potentially happen. But to be fair, West Ham has done really well. They won the third-tier group, which was the Conference League, so that qualified them to the Europa League, and they're in the quarterfinals. But, I mean, AC Milan versus Roma, that could be a Champions League game. It really could. You know, that's the thing.
Well, and Liverpool, Atalanta, they were playing in the Champions League last year.
Exactly. I mean, my money's still on, again, dependent. You may know, do they bracket it like the Champions League? Do you know? I'm not sure if Liverpool would play.
They do.
Okay. So if it's Liverpool in Leverkusen's half?
No, they're not.
Okay. So I think that could be a fantastic final.
Yeah.
Could be Liverpool versus Leverkusen. That could be the final. That's how I see it. That would be awesome. That would be great. The old manager against the potential new one. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. You think so?
Could well happen.
Well, that will happen. Home and home, or home and away series, April 11th and the 18th for the Europa League. And then there was the Champions League draw. And boy, there were some interesting ones here, too. We're down to the final eight in the Champions League. Arsenal versus Bayern. Wow.
Yeah. That's going to be good.
And then this one. How about this one? Real Madrid versus Manchester City.
Amazing. That's amazing. I mean, and they're in the same half of the draw. So they could play each other in the same. I mean, Real Madrid, Man City, that should be the final. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that should be the final.
Right. Wasn't it last year? Who did Man City play in the final last year?
Well, they won it in the final. That's a great question. As I'm thinking about it, I can't even remember.
No one remembers the second place team. That's just how it goes.
I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. But yeah, exactly. But Man City beat Real Madrid, I believe, in the semifinals last year. They kind of destroyed them and got through to the final. And they were the team to beat. But it should have been the final potentially in terms of who it was. But you could have a Real Madrid Bayern semi-final or an Arsenal Man City semi-final. Either one would be pretty good. So
yeah, even the other half of the draw are not exactly slouches either. We've got Atletico Madrid versus Dortmund, and then PSG versus Barcelona, and Barcelona is back.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, two good games there, too. Barcelona, you just don't know. They've been up and down, but to get to where they got, that's fantastic for them. And they have a good chance to get to the final. They really do. And maybe PSG do as well. We'll see.
Yeah, well, this is Mbappe's swan song, right, with PSG.
That's right. That's right. By
So,
the way,
yeah.
Man City beat Inter last year in the final. Inter Milan.
Thank you.
There you go.
We should probably do some research before we start these shows.
We really should. Well, when you ask these questions and then you think, oh my God. Crap,
never ask. This is
about...
Broadcasting 101. I'll just tell you this right now. Never ask a question on the air that you don't know the answer to.
That's right. Exactly right. And people may not think this. You do a fantastic job of having a script for this. It's not all off the cuff. But then you do go off the cuff and you make us sound really dumb. So,
I am who
good
I
job.
am. I am who I am.
That's right.
All right. Well, Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, official state association and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the Olympic Development Program, and referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org. By the way, I just recertified as a referee, just so you know.
Did you really?
4 years, yeah. I
Wow.
always do that. I've done that when we had this massive issue with referees a few years ago, and we still do, don't get me wrong. It's nothing dramatically increased by any means. So I said, look, I'm going to certify. I don't go out and do games every week, but if I'm ever in a situation where there's a game going on, the referee didn't show up, I've got my bag in the car, boom, I'm there to help. There you go.
Wow, it's like Superman. You can go into into a phone booth. Remember those? They used to have those. change into Super Ref.
Exactly right. I quite like that idea. And it's not so much a booth, it's more my CRV, but I'll just jump in the car, get it done, and then I come out. He's from DOC to Super Ref. I love it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a YouTube video we could put together.
Look at that guy over there. He's got a weak back. How long has he had that weak back?
Yeah, about a week.
Yeah, got about a week back. All right. It's time for your favorite part of the show.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
All right, I think you're going to get this one this week pretty easily, but we'll go through the motions here. This week's Premier League star is 27 years old and is a defensive midfielder. Okay, so that can be just about anybody, right? Mm-hmm. But I'll narrow it down for you a little bit. He wears number 16.
Number 16, huh?
Yep. Who is it? Do you need a little more than that?
Maybe one more. Maybe one more clue.
He's been with his current club since 2019.
Okay.
And he's played 163 matches for them. Scored 20 goals. I'll tell you what else. It's the only. Well, you got one?
I'm guessing. Is he from Spain?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Would he be playing for a team that wears light blue that Chelsea's going to beat in the semi-finals?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I'm going to go on a limb. He's a good player. They say he's Manchester City's best player. I'm going to go with his full name, Rodrigo Hernandez Casacante, also known as Rodri.
Wow. What was the tip-off? Is it number 16? Was that it?
Number 16. I just remember the number. Yes, that was the tip-off.
Wow.
Number 16.
I am very impressed. By the way,
and there's not too many. Yeah, defensive midfielder obviously clued me right in. So I'm like,
all
there
right.
you go. Mm-hmm.
Well, he's had a fairly successful career. He's won the UEFA Super Cup twice, the Champions League once, the FA Cup once, the EFL Cup twice, the FIFA World Cup once, the Cup World Cup, and also the Premier League 3 times. Plays for the Spanish national team. Cost £62 million when Atletico Madrid let him go to Manchester City. And like you said, he has been a great signing for them.
Oh, tremendous.
I'd still give Kevin De Bruyne the nod as their best player, but
yeah. I think because of his staying power, because he really never misses. Touch wood. Maybe he'll take the semi-final off against Chelsea. That would be fine. But he's been so consistent in terms of what it is, and I know Pep obviously thinks very highly of him as a player, but.
And he's like the Pep on the field for those guys.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue he's the best defensive midfielder in the world at this time.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. So what you're saying is he's way too good for me to use in the Guess the Premier League Star.
Well, finally, it's a Premier League star. That's what you know. What when you ask the question, Premier League star. That's how I get it so easily, because they are stars in the Premier League.
Gotcha.
They're not floating around playing for teams that are maybe getting games, right? So that's why I'm able to get them. I know the stars.
All right.
Non-stars.
We'll just change the name of the feature. Guess the Premier League also ran.
Yeah, or guess the Premier League player. Okay, that's fine.
Guess the Premier League sub.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we started a new feature last week called Weird Stat of the Week. And I dug into the statistics this past week, and I found something that I found interesting. And that is this. Which club has suffered the most Premier League losses of all time? And by the way, it's a big number. 445 defeats.
Wow.
And the Premier League's only been around since 1992.
Yeah, interesting. So, are they currently in the Premier League?
Yes. 4 of the top 5 are currently in the Premier League.
Oh, interesting. My guess, because of they've been in the Premier League the whole time, and they definitely struggled. I'm going to go with Everton.
Very good. Wow, this is your day. That is very impressive.
Yeah, just because they've been there since the inception, and they've struggled almost every year, to be fair. I could see them losing a lot of games. They've already lost. How many games have they lost already? 13 this year. Yeah.
They've lost 35% of all the games they've played in the league. That's not good.
No.
And second most losses, you want to try some of these others here? We've got number 2, 3, and 4 are all in the Premier League, and they're all in the top 10 right now.
Interesting. I'd put Newcastle in there probably.
Yep, they're 4th.
West Ham probably.
Yep, they're number 2.
Aston Villa.
Very good. Wow. And then the 5th place team is no longer in the Premier League. But they were for many, many years.
Would that be Norwich?
Oh, so close. Southampton.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, and now here's a little twist to this story. Which team has the fewest losses in the Premier League?
Easy.
In history.
I was going to say Chelsea, but that's not true. But
no, Chelsea's just outside of the top 10.
Fewest losses. You automatically think Manchester City, right?
Yeah, that's not correct. Well, if you think about it, now this is in the history.
History of the Premier League. That's why I was saying you automatically think Manchester City.
Right.
See, there's going to be a but.
Uh-huh.
But
okay.
when you look at who's won the most Premier League titles, I'm going to go with their arch rivals, Manchester United.
Well, that's not true either.
Really?
And it's kind of a trick question because there have been 51 clubs in the Premier League.
Okay.
But, those teams that you're mentioning, they've been in so long, they've lost plenty of games.
Yeah, true.
So it'd have to be a team that was just barely in there. And that team is currently in the Premier League. In 51st place number of losses.
Nottingham Forest.
No. It's Luton Town.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
17 losses in the history of their Premier League time, but that's just this season, right? This is their only season ever.
Yeah. That makes sense, yeah.
So that was the trick question. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I have fun. I have fun with this feature.
That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. No, I like it. It's a good one. But also, we forgot to mention, which is big news, Nottingham Forest, they lost 4 points.
Oh, did that officially came down?
Officially came down. So they are now in the bottom 3. So because of financial fair play, obviously big issue. So the bottom 3 now looks like Sheffield United on 14 points, Burnley on 17, Nottingham Forest on 21. So Luton has jumped up to fourth from bottom. So that's going to have massive ramifications. And the game that we talked about, Luton versus Nottingham Forest, ended up being a draw.
Right.
So Luton scored in the last minute.
I watched it.
Yeah, ultimately, that's a big ramification there for Notts Forest to drop down there. So they're still not far away, though. So it could have been worse. 10 points would have probably really hurt them, but 4 points is probably not bad.
Yeah, they still have a chance to get out of that, I'd say.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
All right, so it is time for this feature.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
Now, this is International Weekend, so there aren't that many games, in terms of the teams that we normally watch. So, but I'm sure you have scoured the TV guides and found something for us.
I have. We found a few little things. I mean, it's always a tough one. I've been listening to a lot of people on the radio about how they detest the international breaks. And certainly this one is a tough one because everybody's kind of gearing up to the finals. You've got semi-finals coming up. You've got Champions League. You've got the Premier League. So do we really need these games? I don't know, especially because you've got the Euros just around the corner, Copa around the corner. But the games that I think we need to watch for sure, I'm going to give you 3, maybe 4 potentially.
Oh, wow,
First
great.
One, Thursday is going to be a good one because you're going to see a lot of Premier League players. USA men's national team against Jamaica, which will be a really good game.
Yes.
Because it actually means something. It's the CONCACAF Nations League. What exactly that means, really, we don't know. It's just a Nations League. They have the championship. They've got the gold. There's too many championships, right? So they're playing each other in the semifinals. Then the winner will play against either Panama. I believe it's Panama versus Mexico, of course. So the winner of that game will play against hopefully USA, and that'll be on Sunday. So there's like a double game you need to watch. You don't want to miss Mexico versus USA in any shape or form.
No,
so
always good.
That's the game. Yeah, absolutely.
The
other one I would say probably going to be a pretty decent one, which is going to be on Saturday, 1:00 kickoff our time. Just you're going to have a lot of players missing because there's a lot of injuries, but it's still England versus Brazil might be a decent game to watch. 1:00. Probably on Fox, maybe ESPN. I'm not sure exactly which one yet, but that'll be a decent one to watch as well. So get your USA game in and then pop over and watch England versus Brazil. That won't be bad.
Okay, great. And here's something else for you to think about. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. If people come up to you and ask you if your back hurts, you know what you can say? It's spine. It's spine. It's spine.
Oh dear. Well, did you just look that up on the internet?
I think I'm going to remove my spine. It's only holding me back.
Oh gosh, here we go. Right. Yeah. Wow, you've been searching. You've been searching.
One day I looked at my spine and said, "Thanks for all your support." All right, that's as good as I can do. We have people to thank for this show, and we should apologize for the back jokes, but we do have people to thank. First, we have to also mention that Free Kicks is brought to you by the Green White Soccer Club. I'll be there on Thursday night watching that USA-Jamaica game. Green White Soccer, We have our tryouts coming up on April 22nd and April 23rd. Teams for all ages from U8 up until over 50. Go to greenwhitesoccer.org. We need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasano, with Opie Shows. We have to thank Ed Silla. He is from the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. Now, we're going to be off next week because it's the international break, but we will be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Free Kicks.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?